Hello, everyone. Virgo, eyes open, Anna here. Something is being placed in front of you. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Subscribe if you're ready to receive this correctly. Here we go. An offer is not a gift. This distinction is load bearing for everything that follows. So stay with it for a moment before moving past it. A gift arrives without requirement. It asks nothing of the receiver except the receiving no preparation, no discernment, no active engagement with what is being offered. A gift lands and you have it, passive, complete. The transaction requires only that you be present. An offer is different in its most essential nature. Whew. An offer presents something and wait. It has a window, not always long, not always clearly visible, but a window nonetheless during which the thing offered is available and after which its availability in this specific form, at this specific moment, from this specific direction, may not persist. An offer requires a response, not immediately, not in the panicked way of something that expires if you hesitate for a breath, but within the range of time that the offer holds itself open. And the response, the act of receiving the offer correctly, of meeting what is being placed in front of you with the quality of attention and preparation and willingness that the offer was assembled for that response determines what the offer becomes. The same offer received well becomes one thing. Received poorly becomes another. Missed entirely becomes what might have been. What is approaching you is an offer. The richest kind of offer, the kind that has been assembled over a period of time by the specific convergence of your readiness and the world's corresponding arrangement of what is available. Not placed randomly, placed specifically for the specific version of you that exists right now in this configuration at this point in your becoming. This offer is for you as you are now, not as you were. The diamond. The title puts a diamond in its center, and the diamond belongs there not as decoration, not as the shorthand for wealth, but as the most precise available metaphor for what is approaching. Because a diamond is not simply a valuable stone. A diamond is what carbon becomes under specific conditions of pressure and time and heat that transform the most ordinary substance, the same carbon that is in every living thing, the unremarkable, abundant, everywhere present carbon, into the hardest natural material on earth, into something that refracts light in ways no other substance can, into something whose value is inseparable from the process that formed it. You are the carbon that became the diamond. Whew. Not through being special in the raw material sense, through what you were subjected to and what you survived and what the pressure and the time and the heat of it made you. The transformation is complete. The diamond is formed, and a diamond, once formed, does not return to carbon under ordinary conditions. The transformation is irreversible. The hardness is structural. The light refracting quality is permanently yours now, built into the molecular arrangement of what you are. The offer arriving corresponds to the diamond, not to the raw carbon, not to any previous version of you that existed before the pressure did its work. To this, to the specific, hard, clear, light refracting thing you have become, to the person that all of it made. The offer is sized for a diamond. Let that have its full meaning. Lucky. The title says you are so lucky, and this deserves examination. because luck, as we have discussed across readings, is the least accurate word for what is actually happening. And yet, there is something true in it that the more precise language misses. There is a quality to the arrival of this offer, to the specific way it is approaching, through the specific channels it is using, at the specific moment in your development that it is choosing, that does produce the experience of luck from the inside, not the randomness of it, the correspondence of it. The experience of luck is the experience of correspondence, of the outside world suddenly reflecting something the inside world has been holding, of the gap between what you are and what surrounds you narrowing unexpectedly and not entirely through your own effort toward the specific alignment where the two are in conversation rather than in tension. That experience of the world turning toward you in the specific direction of something you needed without your having engineered the turning is what people mean when they say lucky. It is not randomness. It is the felt sensation of a correspondence arriving, and the correspondence is real. The world is turning. The offer is the turning's expression, and the specific quality of this turning, the size of it, the comprehensiveness of it, the fact that it addresses not one dimension of your life, but several simultaneously, is what earns the word jackpot rather than the word improvement. Jackpot is the word for when the correspondence exceeds what was expected, when the outside world does not merely catch up to the inside world, but exceeds what the inside world had calibrated itself to expect. You calibrated yourself lower than what is arriving. The arriving exceeds the calibration. What the offer actually contains: 3 things. Distinct but interlocked, each one opening the door for the others to arrive more fully than they could have in the absence of the others. The first is recognition, not the social recognition of reputation or standing or the accumulation of external markers that signal to others that you have achieved something worth noting. Deeper recognition, the recognition by the specific person, people, or circumstances that are in a position to change the material conditions of your life, that what you carry is not ordinary, that the specific combination of capability and character and the particular way you move through problems is genuinely, distinctively, not replaceable by anyone else valuable. This recognition is the foundation of what is being offered. It is the reason the offer exists, rather than going to someone else. You are being seen accurately by something or someone with the authority to translate the seeing into material consequence. The seeing is becoming consequence. The second thing the offer contains is opportunity at the scale of your actual capacity, not opportunity sized for the previous constrained version of you, the one that operated within the limits of what was available in the difficult seasons. Opportunity sized for the diamond, for the full formed, pressure tested, light refracting version of what you actually are. This is the most disorienting part of the offer. Not because the opportunity is unwelcome, but because your imagination, still partially calibrated to the constrained version, will initially try to compress the opportunity into the familiar dimensions, will tell you it is too much, will reach for reasons to make it smaller. The opportunity is not too much. The opportunity is correctly sized for what you have become. The disorientation is not warning, it is the adjustment required when the outside world stops reflecting the constrained version and starts reflecting the actual one. Give yourself the time the adjustment requires. The opportunity will hold itself open long enough for you to arrive at the correct size. The third thing is access. The specific, practical opens the next door access that changes not just what you currently have, but what becomes available from here. The way a key does not give you all the rooms, but gives you the door that leads to the corridor that leads to the wing you have not yet entered. What is being offered does not deliver everything at once. Nothing that delivers everything at once is an offer worth the name. It delivers the key, the door, the corridor. The first room in the wing you have not yet entered. And from that first room, what is visible from the window is completely different from what was visible from where you were before. Different view, different horizon, different set of doors from which to choose the next door. Get ready. The title insists on this, and the title is right. Getting ready is not about preparation in the elaborate sense. It is about a specific kind of interior adjustment that needs to happen before the offer can be received at its actual size. 3 adjustments, small, essential. The first, update the estimate of what you are worth. Not upward in the abstract, aspirational, I will believe I deserve more because this reading told me to way. Specifically upward in the very concrete sense of the estimate you have been operating from was calibrated in circumstances that no longer exist. The circumstances changed. The estimate has not yet changed to match. The offer that is approaching is priced at the actual current value, which is higher than the estimate. And if you receive the offer from within the old estimate, you will negotiate against yourself, will find ways to accept less than is being offered, will instinctively compress the offer into the familiar dimensions. The first adjustment is let the estimate catch up to the reality. The second, clear the space, physically, logistically, and energetically. The offer arriving needs room. Not the room of someone who has emptied their life in anticipation of something arriving. That kind of vacuum is its own problem, its own energy that can distort what comes into it. But the specific targeted clearing of what is occupying the space the offer needs, the commitments that belong to the previous chapter and are now running on inertia rather than genuine alignment with where you are going, the relationships that exist in the space of what you are receiving and that will complicate the receiving if they are still present when it arrives. The habits of mind, the self-limiting stories, the reflexive undersizing, the protective small thinking that occupy mental space, which the offer requires for its proper reception. Clear specifically. Not everything in your life is not the problem. The specific things that belong to the chapter that is ending and not the chapter that is beginning. The third, practice receiving without immediately managing. This is the adjustment most likely to be bypassed and most necessary not to bypass. The reflex for someone who has been managing a constrained life is to immediately convert any arriving good into a managed thing, to translate the good into its practical implications, its potential complications, its risks, its requirements, before the good itself has had the chance to simply be received and registered and felt. The managing is necessary eventually. The good things that arrive do have practical implications and potential complications and risks and requirements, but the receiving has to happen before the managing. The felt experience of the thing has to be allowed to land before the analytical machinery converts it into a project. Let it land. Before you manage it, before you plan it, before you do anything except let what is arriving actually arrive in the full force of what it is. The window, every offer has one. The window during which the specific form of this specific offer at this specific moment is available. The window is not a threat, it is a description of reality, the honest acknowledgement that things in motion do not hold their position indefinitely, that the alignment which makes what is approaching possible exists within a range of conditions that will continue to develop. What is available today in this configuration may not be available in the same configuration 6 months from now. Not because it will be lost, but because it will have moved, will have become something else, will have developed past the point where the offer it currently represents is still the offer. This is the get ready of the title. Not panic, not urgency that produces hasty decisions, but the specific, grounded, this matters, so I am going to be present for it quality of someone who understands that what is approaching is time sensitive in the specific way of something that requires your engagement to complete itself. That will not collapse if you take the time to think. But that is not infinite in its patience. That needs to be met, not rushed toward, but met actively with the specific quality of attention and readiness that the offer was assembled for. The offer was assembled for you. Not for the version of you that will exist after more time has passed and more development has occurred and more of the becoming has become for you right now. This version, the diamond, the formed thing, the person who arrived at this configuration through everything that preceded it, be that person when the offer arrives. Not the managed version of that person, not the appropriately humble version, not the cautious version who is protecting themselves against the possibility of disappointment by not fully showing up until the thing is confirmed. The full version, the diamond, the light refracting, pressure formed, irreversibly changed full version of what you have become. Jackpot. The word earns its place here not as hyperbole, not as the enthusiasm of someone who wants to make you feel good without substance behind the feeling, but as the accurate description of the ratio between what is arriving and what you are calibrated to expect. When the arriving exceeds the expected by the specific structural, not temporary, margin, that what is approaching exceeds your current estimate of what is available to you, that is the jackpot, not the random prize